Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission is the author of a few books, but her latest is 99 Types of Guys. And it's a humorous collection of dating tips and misadventures. Welcome, Stephanie Bailey. What's
Thank
happening?
you. I'm so excited to be here and I'm so excited to talk about my book. This has been such a great journey that honestly, Laura, was a big inspiration from you. I mean, I this was put on kind of the shelf back in 2013. And because you were my publisher for my last two books, I sent it to you to get your opinion and you just telling me to get it out there. This is awesome. This will do great. You literally gave me that motivation. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You guys, Stephanie was also the lead author of a collaboration called Misadventures Guide to Ultimate Empowerment for Women. And so I thank you back. I thank you for saying yes to being in my world and for leading this stellar group of women through this experience of writing about empowerment. This was a raw, real, amazing, vulnerable book, as is 99 Types of Guys, which people aren't going to realize right away. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that, but this has a level of awareness in it that was probably my favorite part of the book. But you guys, let me just read a little bit about Stephanie before we get into the questions. So Stephanie is the CEO of Misadventures LLC. She's been a self-love and relationship coach for over 26 years. She's a 3-time best-selling published author on Amazon, podcaster, and yoga teacher for over 14 years. Stephanie's mission is to help empower women on their journey and create a clearer path for guiding them to self-love. So she offers in-person and virtual love coaching sessions.
Yes.
And that's miss-adventures.com. I've got you hooked up down below in the show notes, you guys, so don't worry. Tell us about this awesome book. How did the idea even come about for you?
Well, the idea came about. I had a friend that was being sarcastic and he said, you date a lot of men, you should write about it. And at first I was taken back a little bit insulted. And then I was like, well, maybe he's right. And so I started jotting down notes about the different types of men that I had dated up to that point. And then I'd share them with my girlfriends because we do brunches. I always we always had tons of girl time. And when I would share my notes, my girlfriends are like, wait, I've dated that guy. And so I've always left names out. I'll give descriptions in there because it's not about one guy with one chapter. It's just about what it's like to date, for instance, a narcissist or a doggy
Mr.
dater.
Kryptonite, you
Kryptonite.
guys. Okay. Yes.
And to be able to connect too, because just like Misadventures Guide to Ultimate Empowerment for Women, that book was raw and connecting to women to say, you know what, we have been there. I've gone through abandonment. Somebody's gone through being in an abusive relationship. Somebody's gone through having bipolar. Somebody's gone through having a child who has mental issues. I mean, there's so many stories in that so that women would feel less alone. So 99 Types of Guys is very similar. People out there dating, I get it. It can be frustrating. It can feel defeating. It can be exciting. It can be a lot of things, right? Rolled up in one. So I wanted to write a book that's like, hey, I get it. I dated a lot of men. And actually there's a second book that's going to be coming out because there's more than 99. And I've already been working on that. But yeah, so I just wanted women to know that, or anybody that dates men to know, I've been there. I get it. I didn't meet my partner until a week before I turned 48.
Well, okay, that was my next question for you. So you guys, for the record, you are married, right?
No,
Oh, you're not married. Okay.
no. We have a house. We have a child. His 16-year-old child lives with us. He's been living with us now for over 3 years. He'll turn 17 in June. He's got another son who lives with his ex-wife up in the mountains. So yeah, we just have a great family unit here. Marriages come up, but I'm very organic and so is he. It's not like I need to rush because I'm not having children. So we love our family how it is right now. And if we ever decide to make that step, we'll see. But I always say for everybody, take off timelines because for me, it's like enjoying the process. We've been together for almost 5 years.
Nice. And he
Yeah.
obviously supports 99 types of guys,
Yes.
which he's an
Yes, he
awesome
does.
person.
He
Yes.
does.
Well,
So
like
very
I opened
lucky.
it up and I got to the long distance guy, and I'm like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, I've been there with the long distance guy. But I love that well, my favorite thing about this book is the awareness in it. And it's funny. It is funny, but it's also, you can tell from your writing that you come from a place of getting it, like you said. And because your mission is empowerment, this funny book had to be a little bit deeper than that. And
Yeah.
that's my favorite part about it. So I wonder if you have a favorite part about your own book.
There are so many in there. I mean, a lot of people have talked about the doggy dater because, even that it's like and it happened. Like I dated a guy who kept breaking plans because of his dog. And I get it. I'm a cat lover. I get loving your fur babies. However, when you can't even, carve out time to go on a date that you pursued me and asked me to go on, and it's always about your dog, it's like that's not okay. So it's really understanding our limits. And the book is really about like, if you are a doggy date yourself, if love your pet, your dog, then that person's going to be right for you. It's the same thing. It's like, if you're a narcissistic woman, then a narcissistic man would be perfect for you. So it's really just figuring out like what types are out there to date and where do you fit in and what is your tolerance level. And so it's just like kind of like a little dating guide and manual for people to use.
Okay, so I want to continue the conversation about the dating game, but I'm going to read you guys a little bit of the back cover. So, have you ever thought that if you had a guidebook for men, your dating life might be easier? 99 Types of Guys is a humorous compendium of dating tips and misadventures. This book is to help us figure out what we want or not in a relationship. Dating can be fun, stressful, annoying, exciting, frightening, heartbreaking, and delightful. I created this book so that anyone who dates men will know they are not alone. Trust me, I've been there. 99 Types of Guys is your dating guidebook. So, what is it? What else do you want your readers to know about the dating game? What's important?
The main thing is just to not give up. I think a lot of times we're either too afraid to put ourselves out there, or we put ourselves out there and we have a bad experience and then we just want to, take ourselves off the market for forever. And it's really just staying hopeful. I mean, like I said, I didn't meet my person until a week before. I think it was actually 8 days before I turned 48. And it was out of the blue. I was going down for girls time. He was there talking to some of the girls that I was meeting. And from then it's like we just, our journey began. And so you just never know where you're going to meet that person. I was pretty much single for 8 months and just being happy being single. But I was always open to finding love and having love find me. So really keeping an open heart, I would say, is the biggest thing.
I love that. That's so important. I think that's important in life in general for lots
Mhm.
of topics. All right, I found the doggy dater illustration, you guys. I have to share this with the people who can actually see our YouTube thing. The doggy dater. The illustrations are amazing. Did you want to
Yes.
say anything about your
Oh my
illustrator?
goodness. Yes. Kyle Malone is just amazing. He's already on board for the second book. So I'm feeling super grateful about that. I'm seeing the cover being kind of more red, like kind of, like a reddish maroon color. I love that one too. I mean,
Yes.
he was so great too, like even with the tips, having me next to them. And so, originally when the book was broken down to three, it was men who I dated in my 20s, men who I dated in my 30s, men who I dated in my 40s. So all of the hairstyles go along with that. So my 20s, my hair was short. In my 30s, I wear my hair straight a lot. I blow dry it a lot. And then in my 40s, it was curly. And so it kind of goes with that. So he just kind of took all the three illustrations he had previously created and put them in this book. So he did such a phenomenal job. He's so utterly talented. It's crazy.
That's
And I
awesome. And
feel like he really captured me.
he did some of the interior design for you as well, just as
Oh
a
yeah.
whole, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he did the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
So, Have you had any feedback that you've been kind of amused by yet in terms of like what this is? Anything you want to say about?
Ye-
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
it's interesting. So I've been on a lot of radio shows, talk shows. I've been on a Wish TV, their radio or their talk show. And it's interesting because I've also been on podcasts, and the people that have been wanting to interview me the most have been men. Which is really, they're not really, this is not, this is for women. So I was very surprised about that. And they were very open and laughing and really loved my book. And so it was just great because that was the whole point, is I really wanted people to not walk away thinking this was a male bashing book. So to have men who are like, older, not in my target audience, read my book, interview me and say that they really enjoyed it, and I hit the nail on a lot of the men that I listed, is pretty powerful. And of course, if you look at, even my book, a lot of these descriptions can also be applied to women. I just empower, but my whole thing is I empower women. So that's why I write about men.
Well, what about gay men, Miss Stephanie?
Right. And it's for gay men too. Like, yes, yes. Like, I've
Yes.
been getting great feedback from gay men saying, like, wow, like you really do know men. Like, because we've dated these guys too. So it's been great all around. I've been getting such great feedback from the book. And I made #1 bestseller, and it's my first solo book coming out. And so that was truly exciting. And yeah, it's been just such an amazing journey.
And a fun one too. It's just a
Yes.
fun topic. So, you have a lot going on aside from this gorgeous book. Do
Mhm.
you want to tell the world what you're up to, what you're offering these days? What's going on?
Yes. So I'm a self-love coach and expert. I really focus on self-love, relationships, dating, breakups, being successfully happily single, really the whole gamut, right? Everything from, we talk about, jobs to, family members and all of that, and creating the boundaries that we really need, and really focusing on that love aspect of it and that healing aspect and forgiveness. Because when we can heal and really forgive, that's when we're able to shift from that situation. And when things come up, that's when we can handle it better, because things are always going to come up. I mean, this, being a brave healer, productions, as such an amazing publisher. I mean, this is what you speak. And so that's exactly why, honestly, Laura, when I found you, my heart spoke with you because of how passionate you are about the same topic. So I do that. As you know, I'm also a yoga instructor. I've been at Core Power for over 14 years, which is super exciting. I've been giving my books away. So, if you just happen to be one of those lucky people in Denver, if I'm motivated and moved by you, I run out to my car and I grab a book and I autograph, and I've been giving books out just because I really want this to get into as many hands as possible.
I was just about to say, for the local people, where are you so that they can come do a yoga class or
Yes,
something?
yes. I'm in Denver, Colorado. And then also on my Miss Adventures guide, Miss Adventures page. So miss-adventures.com. If you go on there, you can see and hear all the TV/radio segments I've done. You can also buy a copy of my book that I will, sign in and send out. So it's a great place. And then also you can see how I love coach. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So let's wrap up today with this, like for our listeners. Let's go into a couple of minutes of self-love coaching. So here I am, Stephanie, and it just ain't happening for me. Like things suck. Like I'm feeling a little down, my self-esteem is in the pit. I'm not practicing the awareness that I need to elevate myself. What would you say?
I would start off first talking about, what's been going on in your life. What have you been dealing with? A lot of times when we're feeling this way or feeling defeated, it comes from past experiences that are telling us that we're not good enough. And that's reprogramming our minds, reprogramming that thought process. And so I would ask a client, I would ask you, what's been going on in your life? Like, do you have kids? Do you have, have you been married before? Are you married now? How is it? What's the type of relationship you have with your parents? Because that is huge on a lot of things. I mean, and it's crazy what people don't see in front of them. They can say like, "Oh, but I love my mom and dad." And it's not about not loving your parents. It's about what kind of effect did they have on you. because, you know, our parents come with their own stuff, right? Everybody has their own stuff. And we sometimes forget that. And we make excuses to say, oh, but my mom had such a hard time. Yeah, I get that. However, you also have to realize the effect that she had on you. And a lot of times we go through something, we pass it on to our children, our fears, our doubts, our insecurities in ways that we're not even aware that we're doing it. And so I really go into that deeper level of figuring that out. And there's homework assignments. I mean, as you know, from the first, book collaboration I was in, 25 Tools for Goddesses, one of the homework assignments, what I talked about was writing that letter of forgiveness. And I do that with all my clients because that's huge. I'm huge about creating vision boards of what you really want. I'm huge about figuring out your 5 non-negotiables and getting rid of that, tedious long list that most of us write about what we want in a relationship that actually holds us back. So there's a lot of different levels I go through, and I have a very high successful rate because I'm also an empath. So I pick up on a lot of things that you might be telling me, but not fully. And so I will ask and say, hey, like, can we dive into this a little bit more? Because this is what I'm sensing. This is what I'm picking up. And then I feel like it helps the client to really open up to me.
Nice. I think that the thing that I love the most about our authors and all of the people I get to play with every day, you guys, is that they're operating from a deeper foundational level of awareness that gets you to the root cause of the issues, not just putting a band-aid on the issues with temporary results. Stephanie does work that comes into the foundation of who you are so that the results you experience are more long lasting and manifest into the things that you really want, right? And so I love everything about who you are and what you do. So thank you for being in my
Thank
world.
you. And we always have to remember too, like the words we say, and I also talk about this in my yoga classes, our words are so powerful. And a lot of times we're not even aware when we're saying them. So if you're saying like you hate your job, and then you get fired, are you really surprised that you got fired because you were putting it out there in the energy that you hate your job? Or if you look at yourself and you're constantly picking apart yourself, how is somebody else going to see the beauty inside of you if you can't see it inside of yourself? So there's a lot of aspects of like turning our words around. I'm huge on affirmations. I send those to my clients constantly, because they have full access to me. They can text me anytime and I'll be like, okay, this is your new affirmation. This is what I want you to say over and over again, because affirmations and the words we put out there are truly powerful. And your world is amazing. And the fact that I've stepped into your world has been amazing because, like I said, Laura, you're one of my favorite people out there.
Thank you.
You really are.
All right. What are your last words today about this 99 Types of Guys book? What do you want people to know about this?
I want people to get the book, to laugh, to enjoy, to just take dating lightheartedly and know that like the right person is out there. And the more that we can figure out what we want, the more we're going to find that person. That person's going to find us, right? It's mutual, that connection. And, this is a tool for everybody that you can read something and be like, okay, that's not somebody I want to date. And then you already have in front of you kind of like the guidelines of that person so that you can already have that checklist of like, if you meet somebody that we're going to say is a narcissist, you already have a clue of what a narcissist looks like. So you'll already be prepared if one walks into your life to say, okay, that's not what I want. So I'm not going to entertain this. So it's really just a bunch of stuff to help people in the dating world.
Awesome. Good
Yeah.
guidebook.
Good guy, bud.
Yes. Stephanie Bailey, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thanks for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you for having me. I love you and I love everybody here. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Love you back, girl. All right, you guys, I know something Stephanie said today sparked a little light in you. What's so cool about the people that I hang out with, the books that we publish, is we're creating a community. So it goes beyond the book. So drop down into the show notes because Stephanie's hooked up there with her website. Go explore, buy your copy of the book. And she's very generously there for you, for your next steps, for the support you have, you need, for maybe a question that you have about some type of guy that you read in the book. I don't know.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
go explore, enjoy, and don't forget to pick up your copy. It's on Amazon. It's on her website. It's all over the place. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Bye.